Day 8, France against Peru. Unlucky losers of their opening game. Peru, with 17 shots and a penalty miss, knew a result today against the French was imperative. For 45,000 fans in the crowd, they could take solace and comfort in the knowledge that they had performed admirably in defeat. For France, there'd be no excuse today. This following their 2-1 victory against the Australians, in which they were pretty underwhelming and needed to improve considerably. For France, Giroud came in for Dembele as Lloris made his 100th cap. Peru made 2 changes, one of which was bringing their all-time goal scorer Guerrero in place of Jefferson Farfan, who didn't perform as expected in the opening game. There was a great buzz for the occasion. Peru, heavily backed by its multitude of supporters, in what was effectively an away game for France. Not much was seen in the opening stages. Peru making the quick start, given no time and space, and the French were being marked heavily tight, and Peru were being very compact. It ended in defence. Griezmann, with his first view of goal, gave a disappointing finish, as Pogba's was far more effective, making the keeper sprawl across his goal to make the save. It was Varane, a leaping header from Varane was narrowly wide, as the French evidently were making inroads in the game. Mbappe then clattered in the area, appealed for a penalty, as Griezmann was denied on goal by the half volley. As Peru, it was very ominous for Peru. Peru eventually regained their composure and were back on the boil. And then the big chance arrived for Guerrero. After the fine touch, giving him the space, his left-footed effort straight into the legs of Lloris, and a chance had gone. And soon, a backpedaling Mbappe was set for an overhead kick, failed to get the all-important touch. But then, a few moments later, Mbappe was on hand to touch the ball into an empty net, as the ball as the effort from Giroud had been deflected over the keeper's head. And Mbappe scoring his first international goal ever, as Peru were punished for losing the ball in midfield. The fans were required to lift their team and responded accordingly. Hernandez on the left was close to making it 2-0. The Peruvian keeper keeping his nation still in the contest. Half-time couldn't come fast enough for Peru, as France was showing the quality and were in control. I think the exertion earlier in the game had certainly taken its toll on the Peruvians. Peru made 2 changes for the start of the second half, and a thunderous strike from Apino raised the spirits of his team. The effort clipped the outside of the post, bringing very close to bringing the nation on level terms. Yet again, the fans were very vocal, raising the team's spirits. France, sloppy, not the team of the first half that ended the first half. Peru reinvigorated, but the quality still lacking. The pressure, encouraged by the fans, the pressure was put on the French. The game was certainly now beginning to open up pretty well. Avincula cut inside, but unfortunately on his weaker foot, the effort was driven way over. It was non-stop from the crowd. Peru, as yet, unable to find the killer instinct on goal. A swift break ended with the stretching Farfan unable to direct his effort on goal, the ball flying into the side netting. as 15 minutes remained. Dembele, on as a sub for France, then snatched at his own effort, with the ball spinning low and past the post. Like his team's second half performance was disappointing and a very flat finish. Time was running out for Peru, as with only 2 efforts on goal target, it looked like that it wasn't going to happen. In truth, they'd never really gone for it, and it was a very disappointing, second half in its totality. Ultimately, the lack of quality in front of goal, or the lack of clinical finish, or the inability to play the killer pass had been lacking. So France, without overexerting themselves, had qualified for the second round, and it was and what might have been for Peru, one would never have known, as they became one of the latest teams to be eliminated from this World Cup.